The following video was recorded inside a small frozen yogurt shop sometime after closing by a man who'd been dealing with unexplained activity in the building for a while. Flickering lights, strange sounds, the kind of persistent low-level strangeness that you can almost convince yourself to ignore until you can't anymore. On this particular night, he and a woman he works with were still inside after hours trying to retrieve her keys from the back room, and he decided to pull his phone out and film what was happening. He mentions, almost in disbelief, that the lights had already started flickering again, and this wasn't the first time.
Okay guys, we were literally just about to leave my store when shit just started flickering again. This is the second time it's happened. My car's over there, and
I'm shaking right now.
okay, and her keys are in the bag.
We need to go. We need to go get my keys.
And the light turned on.
I don't want to go.
Okay, well, I'm gonna literally record this whole thing just so you guys can see what happened. I'm literally so scared. Okay, okay, something. The bathroom light's on too.
It's like, bro, why are my keys on the floor? They were not there. Like, I deadass put them on the desk. Like, oh my god. What the hell?
This is literally insane.
The crash erupts out of nowhere from somewhere deeper in the building. No visible source, no explanation, and what follows is pure chaos. Both of them sprinting toward the back office in a full panic. But then they find her keys lying on the floor. She's insistent that she left them on the desk, and the man confirms he didn't see them there either. That alone is unsettling. Displaced objects are one of the most commonly reported signs of poltergeist-type activity. The kind of presence that doesn't just make noise, but physically interacts with the environment, moving things deliberately, as if to be noticed. Then, it got worse. The second clip picks up shortly after, with the two of them still inside, watching the security monitors in the back office while the cameras around the store continue to flicker. They decide they need to leave. They're already nearly an hour past closing, and as they make their way toward the exit, something comes flying out of the darkness right past the camera. Watch.
Okay guys, we've been sitting in the back for like 20 minutes now, and we're just watching the cameras and stuff is still flickering and going on, but nothing happened back here, and we need to go home, and this is so freaking terrifying.
We're 50 minutes past our shift because of this shit.
We closed at 10, so we need to like, it's so dark because all the light switches are over here.
Stop it, stop it. Oh, fuck.
Okay, this is what I mean. This room is over. This is.
Oh my god.
This is what we're dealing with.
Oh my god, yo, what the bro, Nick, did you this on purpose?
No,
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, Nick.
Stop! You're literally. Are you?
No, wait, no. Nah.
No.
That's it.
We literally looked away for like 2 seconds.
You can see it cut through the frame before clattering off screen, and both of them bolt straight for the door. The nervous laughter outside is the kind that comes when you're too shaken to process what just happened any other way. But the most unsettling detail comes when he turns the camera back through the glass front door. 2 metal chairs that were upright moments earlier are now tipped over on the floor, and neither of them touched them. He says he only looked away for a few seconds. Poltergeist cases like this one tend to follow a pattern where the activity doesn't just repeat, it escalates, becoming more physical and more direct over time, as though whatever is present is testing how much it can do before someone finally leaves. He says he's planning to do an overnight stay to try to make contact. What do you think will happen if he does? This next video was recorded inside a family home using 2 mounted security cameras, one in a bedroom, one in the dining room, and the footage spans 2 separate dates in February of 2026, both captured in the early hours of the morning. In the bedroom clip, recorded just after 2 a.m., an older woman, A younger woman and a child are all asleep, completely still. Nothing in the room is moving. Listen closely. A quiet, disembodied male-sounding voice is heard whispering a name, Naneng, into a room where everyone is asleep. Then in the dining room, footage recorded just after 5 a.m., the same kind of voice speaks again in an empty room, saying the name Len, seconds before a teenage girl walks out of a hallway door on her own. And back in the bedroom, at the exact same timestamp, the voice speaks once more, this time with what sounds like a questioning inflection, calling out while the entire family remains completely unconscious. So if you listen carefully, something is calling their names, and not one of them heard it. Now in this next clip, a man is walking through a large concrete drainage tunnel, the kind covered in graffiti, with a shallow stream running along the floor, when something in the darkness ahead stops him cold. He'd gone in alone, recording on his phone, moving through the echoing pipe with nothing but the ambient glow of his camera lighting the way. The tunnel stretched ahead of him, dark and narrow, and for a moment everything seemed quiet. Then, at around the 15-second mark, a sharp metallic clicking sound echoes out from somewhere deep in the darkness. He stops walking. He calls out, "Watch."
What the hell? Hello?
What answers him back isn't a person. A low, guttural sound, somewhere between a growl and a distorted whisper, rolls back through the tunnel in response to his voice. And then, as his eyes adjust to the darkness, you can make out the shape standing at the far end. Tall, impossibly thin, 2 points of white light where the eyes should be. The enhanced replay at the end makes it even harder to dismiss. The figure's limbs are long and spindly, its skin pale and gaunt, and it stands completely motionless right up until the moment it lunges and lets out a sustained, piercing shriek that sounds nothing like a human being. He runs. A lot of viewers immediately called it a crawler, a modern internet label for pale, thin, humanoid figures, reported in isolated tunnels and underground spaces, usually described by their unnatural proportions and the way they move. Others think the glowing eyes point to something else entirely, something that doesn't fit neatly into any category. Skeptics argue it could be a person with a torch, but that explanation gets harder to hold onto when you hear what came out of that tunnel. So what exactly was standing in the dark, waiting? The following video was recorded inside a 1920s home during the daytime, which, honestly, makes it harder to dismiss than most. The man filming had been upstairs watching TV when he heard a banging sound coming from the living room below. He says there's nobody else in the house. As he makes his way down the stairs and through the hallway, past taxidermy, Venetian masks, old framed pictures, and a crucifix on the wall, he mentions that some of his haunted objects from a previous home are now kept here, though nothing has ever happened with them. He calls out into the empty rooms, no response, just the steady ticking of a grandfather clock and the feeling that something is waiting. Watch.
It's banging in the living room. There's nobody else in the house. I've just been upstairs watching TV. Some of my old haunted objects from the old house are in here, but nothing's ever happened. Hello? Hello? Oh! Whoa! Shit. Oh my god. What? What the hell? Whoa, I'm not staying in there. Oh my god. Oh, it's even colder in here. What is that noise? Hello? Oh my god. Well, it looks like my objects are back at it again, doesn't it? What the hell? What the hell? No! I am getting out of here. What the hell?
Two events hit almost back to back. A taxidermy bird on the fireplace mantel flaps its wings suddenly, then the door slams shut on its own with a heavy metallic crash. Then in the dining room, a chair is violently thrown backward across the floor. He screams. He's done. If you look at how quickly these events escalate, bird, door, chair, all within about a minute, it fits a pattern that paranormal researchers often describe as poltergeist behavior, where physical objects are moved or thrown with what seems like deliberate, escalating force. The term poltergeist comes from the German for noisy ghost, and what makes these cases distinct is the physical aggression, not just shadows or sounds, but objects acting against gravity. Skeptics will say the taxidermy bird could be mechanical, that the door and chair could be rigged, but his reaction, the shaky hands, the swearing, the decision to just leave, that's difficult to fake convincingly. He even notes a second chair had shifted by the time he looked back. So what set it all off? Now in this next clip, a man is filming inside his home just 3 days after losing his brother Chris. And what you're about to witness isn't terrifying, so much as it is deeply unsettling in a quiet, personal way. He's moving through a dimly lit room at night, emotional but calm, speaking directly to his brother's presence as if Chris might actually be listening. At one point, he stops the camera on a child's plastic toy kitchen set sitting against the wall, green and white, completely still. He asks softly, "Is that you, Chris? Do it again. Watch."
That's you, Chris. Do it again. I feel your presence, bro. I feel your presence. Do it again. Holy shitballs.
What did I miss?
The burner on the toy stove lights up with a flashing red glow and emits an electronic sizzling sound. Then, after it goes quiet, he says it again. Do it again, and the toy activates a second time, this time playing a completely different sound sequence. Many people who've experienced grief report moments exactly like this one, where an object associated with family or routine seems to respond at just the right moment. Others think the timing is too precise to dismiss. You decide. This next video was recorded inside a cluttered garage, filmed by a man who had been about to lock up for the night when something stopped him. He claims that just before he started recording, he heard a laugh coming from the back of the garage. Not a voice, not a knock, but a laugh. And he describes it as the most unnerving, weird laugh he's ever heard, seeming to come from somewhere near one of the riding mowers. So instead of leaving, he pulled out his phone and started moving through the space, sweeping the light across the concrete floor, the shelves, the equipment, trying to find any explanation for what he'd just heard. He hadn't found anything yet. Watch.
Alright, so I was just closing this up, like just locking it up to head out, and I closed the bay, and I was closing this door. I shut the lights off, getting ready to close this door, and heard, I swear, I heard a laugh. And it was the most unnerving, and it was such a weird laugh. It sounded like it was coming from that back mower, like something was sitting on that back mower. I should have left it alone. I don't even know what that was, where it came from, where it went. But I'm not sticking around to find out, so I'm out of here. Screw this. I'm out of here. I am not sticking around.
A sudden, sharp, metallic crash explodes off-screen with enough force to make him physically flinch, and when he swings the light toward the source, there's nothing there. No fallen object, no obvious cause, nothing on the floor that wasn't there before. His voice afterward is shaky, and you can hear him repeating that he should have just left, that he doesn't know where the sound came from or where it went. Some think residual energy in cluttered, closed-off spaces can build tension and release it violently, almost like pressure finding an outlet. And the laugh he heard before he even started filming, that detail is hard to shake. What exactly was waiting for him in that garage? This next clip was recorded by a woman at night, sitting in her car, describing something she'd witnessed inside her home. And what makes it so hard to dismiss is the detail she kept coming back to. She explains that on the same day she played Surah al-Baqarah, one of the most protective recitations in Islamic tradition, through the house, she passed by her children's room and noticed one of the toys doing something she couldn't explain. Her daughter's Peppa Pig stuffed toy lying on the bed. Watch.
I put Baqarah in my house. That same day, I am like just passing by my kid's room, and basically I see one of the toys doing this. Now, when I first saw it, I thought, are you really seeing things? Because ain't no way that thing is moving its eyes. There is no way it's moving its eyes. Does that make sense? No, it does not. This is your child's little toy that they always love and sleep with. My daughter loves it. That thing is her life, okay? My daughter and that monkey chump are the same. She loves that little toy. So I'm like, ain't no way. It has to be my eyes. So I'm looking at it. My son comes. He's also looking at it. Both of us are like looking at each other. We're like, oh, I don't know. Let's use the camera. And then we use the camera and we see for our eyes. First time in real life, this toy was moving its eyes. What could it be? What do you guys think it is? Do you think it's jinn?
If you look closely, the toy's plastic eye slowly rotates upward, turning, according to her, to look directly at the camera. She says she thought her eyes were playing tricks on her at first, so she called her son over, and both of them stood there watching it together before deciding to film it. Many in the Muslim community watching this immediately pointed to jinn, supernatural beings described in Islamic tradition as created from smokeless fire, capable of inhabiting objects, invisible to the naked eye, but very much present. Jinn aren't considered innately evil, but certain ones are believed to attach to children's belongings specifically. She ends the clip asking the audience the same question she still can't answer herself. What do you think it is? In the following video, a woman is casually filming herself in the mirror, checking her appearance with her phone light on, like it's any other normal moment. Nothing seems out of place at first, until a loud banging noise suddenly echoes from somewhere else in the house. Her expression changes instantly. She turns the camera and slowly walks toward the sound, her footsteps cautious. The noise leads her up the stairs, and by the time she reaches the top, her breathing is noticeably heavier, a mix of nerves and adrenaline. She pauses in front of the attic door for a moment before finally pulling it open. The attic is completely empty. No movement, no animals, no loose objects that could explain the sound. She scans the space with the camera, clearly confused and shaken, before backing away. Whatever caused the banging had completely vanished, leaving her alone with the unsettling realization that the noise came from somewhere she couldn't explain at all. Sam is a member of staff at the Jefferson Hotel, a place that's already gained a reputation for a surge of unexplained activity over the past few months, and this clip only adds to it. He shared this CCTV footage after another strange incident left him completely shaken. Take a look.
Here's the shirt pulling episode. Right now we're talking about the footage, and look at my shirt right there in the middle, and watch what happens. right there. So we both react, and you can see right here, I'll do it in slow motion and show you. Right there, hold on. Right there. The shirt just gets pulled a little bit. And then, here's our reactions. I gotta turn it down because there's some cussing going on, because we were in such disbelief. But you'll be able to see, I'm like trying to describe to her the feeling I got. It was such a weird feeling. And again, I can't say it's anything paranormal. In my opinion, I think it was, just because of the events that happened and the feeling everybody got, and of course that movement was really...
The camera shows the hotel kitchen looking quiet and empty, except for Sam and his wife standing side by side in the middle, casually talking while the rest of the room stays completely still. For a moment, nothing seems out of place. Then, without any warning, the fabric on Sam's shirt suddenly shifts and tugs outward, as if something invisible had grabbed it. The movement is quick but unmistakable, pulling hard enough to catch both of their attention instantly. Sam freezes and looks down in disbelief, while his wife looks equally shocked, clearly confused, and trying to process what she just saw. There's no breeze, no one else in the kitchen, and nothing nearby that could have caused it. They both scan the room, visibly unsettled, realizing whatever touched him wasn't visible on camera. Given the Jefferson Hotel's growing list of similar incidents, this footage only fuels speculation that something unseen is still actively moving through the building. And according to Sam, this was far from the last strange thing to happen there. Really early into the morning, CCTV footage captured inside what appears to be a salon or training space shows something unsettling happening in the early hours of the morning. It's around 4 a.m., long after anyone should be inside the building, and the room is completely still. However, the camera in the room suddenly detects motion, and what it shows is terrifying. Without warning, the fire exit door slowly opens on its own, revealing nothing but darkness behind it. No one enters, no movement can be seen, yet the door remains open for a moment before calmly closing itself again, inch by inch, as if someone unseen was pulling it shut. Just when things seem to settle, one of the mannequin heads lined neatly on the shelves suddenly tips over and falls. Seconds later, several items on the counter beneath are knocked to the floor in quick succession, as if something had swept across the surface. There's no explanation for the chain reaction, and no one is visible anywhere in the footage. Whoever or whatever opened that door clearly didn't leave quietly and wanted to be noticed by the owners. Who knows what action this will cause them to take? A father is always going to respond when their baby cries, especially in the middle of the night when the house is meant to be silent. That's exactly what Matt did when loud, panicked crying suddenly echoed through the hallway, sounding exactly like it was coming from his son's room. Without thinking twice, he rushed out of his bedroom, not knowing the living room camera was already recording what happened next.
Good.
As Matt runs down the hall, something disturbing appears in the corner of the footage. A small, nearly transparent figure, shaped like a young boy, darts around the corner and vanishes out of sight. Matt follows it instinctively, clearly focused on getting to his child, but when he reaches the spot where it disappeared, there's nothing there. No movement, no sound, just an empty hallway. Moments later, his wife confirms on camera that their baby is fast asleep, not crying at all. That's when the reality sinks in. The sound that pulled Matt out of bed didn't come from his son, and whatever ran through the house wasn't supposed to be there. The footage ends shortly after, but Matt later said he hasn't been able to explain the crying or the figure since, and the camera catching it only made the experience harder to ignore. Mr. Fender was filming a regular TikTok, nothing paranormal intended, just showing his followers how powerful his new lights were. He headed out into the woods at night to demonstrate the brightness properly, completely unaware of what was about to be revealed.
The lights are definitely functional, but unfortunately I live in a city and there are street lights everywhere. But I can find a place to go test them. Okay, I found some really dark woods. I just put some tinfoil over the reverse lights. So I'm going to show you what the stock reverse lights look like, and then I'm going to uncover them and show you what the added reverse lights look like. These are the stock reverse lights.
Literally can't see anything.
And these are the ones I just installed. Look how friggin' bright that is. This is amazing. Yeah, so these are not just for looks.
As he switches the light on, the beam floods the trees ahead, lighting up the area far more than expected. For a split second, something horrifying is visible. Wrapped tightly around the trunk of a tree just ahead is what looks unmistakably like a human arm, pale and thin, clinging to the bark. Almost immediately, as the light fully hits it, the arm pulls back behind the tree and disappears from view. Mr. Fender keeps talking, completely oblivious, continuing his demonstration like nothing happened. But viewers noticed it instantly. The comments flooded in, people replaying the clip frame by frame, all pointing out the same thing he never saw. There was no one else with him, no prank, no explanation for how an arm could be there and vanish that fast. The woods were silent, and Mr. Fender never reacted, making the moment even more disturbing. Whatever was hiding behind that tree clearly did not want to be seen, and the only reason anyone knows it was there at all is because the light was just a little too effective. He was out in nature filming quietly by himself, standing beside a wide river with a slow, almost glassy current. What immediately stood out was how silent everything felt. No birds, no insects, nothing you'd normally expect to hear in a place like this. That kind of silence is what made him start recording in the first place. He slowly turns the camera toward the opposite side of the river, focusing on a hill covered in dense trees and thick shrubbery, just scanning the landscape and explaining that something felt off.
Hay gente que hay. Mira, voy a mostrar algo. Vine a pescar a un lugar muy escondido, pero ya me empezó a dar miedo porque mira cómo está. Y tengo rato que siento que algo me está siguiendo y se escuchan las ramas tronar. Y creo que encontré, si no es el hijo de Pie Grande, es el hijo de King Kong. Tiene rato mirándome, mira. Mira. Por favor, no van a decir que no lo ven. No mames, ya me veo la verga. Ánimo.
As he zooms in, a strange figure becomes visible within the trees. It's hard to make out and stays idle. The shape doesn't look like a regular animal, and it's far too large to be a person given how remote the area is. The camera shakes slightly as he tries to keep it in frame, clearly realizing he's caught something unusual. After the clip, the man said he left the area immediately, shaken by how quiet it had been and how closely the figure resembled a Sasquatch. Many who've seen the footage believe it could be Sasquatch, especially given the size, posture, and the unnatural stillness of the forest right before it appeared. The following clip comes from a Ring doorbell camera recording late one night at around 10 p.m. when everything seemed completely normal at first. The camera was doing its usual job, pointed toward the porch, with the quiet road stretching out ahead under dim streetlights. Nothing looked out of place, and there was no movement for a while. That didn't last though. As the footage continues, something slowly comes into view at the edge of the frame. A strange, ghost-like figure appears near the road, pale and semi-transparent, moving in an unnatural way that doesn't resemble a person walking by. Almost at the same time, a bright orb drifts across the camera's view, floating smoothly past the lens before disappearing. The figure continues forward, crossing part of the driveway as if it hasn't noticed the camera at all. It doesn't turn its head, doesn't react, just keeps moving until it eventually fades out of view down the road. There were no neighbors outside, no cars passing, and nothing else on the camera that could explain what was captured. The homeowners later checked outside immediately after the alert and found absolutely nothing there. Whatever walked past that Ring camera that night didn't leave footprints, shadows, or any explanation behind, making this one of the creepiest doorbell clips currently circulating. For anyone new here, Ian is a well-known ghost hunter who spent years documenting some of the most unsettling abandoned locations across the Midwest, and this next clip is a direct continuation of his exploration inside the same notoriously haunted factory. By this point, the activity had already escalated, but what happens next is one of the strangest moments he's ever caught.
Dude, how do you explain that? This thing does not look easy to move. Not at all. Yeah, dude, this thing, there's no way. There's no way. Oh, dude. What the f? Wait a minute. Are you taking that thing? Oh my God. All right, that's it. I'm done.
Oh my gosh. That thing is freaking moving all over the damn place. Dude, that was so insane.
The old cart rattles back to life once again. Could this be the ghost of the tannery worker taunting me to leave his area?
All right, I'm gonna let you get back to work, okay? Holy shit.
Ian is filming deep inside the factory, slowly scanning the room, thinking about how heavy and oppressive the atmosphere feels, when his camera lands on a large metal cart, sitting completely still on the concrete floor. There's no wind, no slope, nothing around it. As he continues talking, the cart suddenly shifts, then begins sliding across the floor on its own, as if someone invisible had grabbed it and pulled. Ian immediately reacts, backing up while keeping the camera locked on it, showing there's no one nearby and nothing attached to it. The movement is smooth and deliberate, not a sudden jolt or vibration, which makes it even harder to explain away. Moments like this are why Ian believes this factory is one of the most active locations he's ever investigated, and judging by what follows later in the video, whatever was moving that cart wasn't done interacting with him yet. Chris had brought out a Ouija board the night before with his friend, hoping to finally get some kind of response after everything that had been happening around his house, but the plan fell flat, and the board stayed silent the entire time. Now he was home alone, trying to convince himself that the quiet meant things were settling down. But the house had that strange stillness that always made him feel like something was listening. He was sitting in the living room when a sudden knock echoed through the house, even though no one was at the door, followed by a soft tapping that seemed to come from the room he was in. Take a look.
A lot of you guys are gonna be mad at me, but me and my cousin broke this out. That's what I did last night.
Dad had sex on a Ouija board.
Oh boy. We did it the proper way, though. I know this is a kid's toy, but y'all don't understand the kind of shit y'all's getting into when y'all fuck with this. At least some people don't. I heard it, but I didn't see it. I still hear it. You can hear that, can't you? I can. It sound like tapping. Everybody's like, oh, it's the hutch. It's the hutch. can't do it again. This is a selfie stick I taped to a tripod.
He stood up and looked around, expecting to find something obvious, but the room was empty and nothing moved except for the faint shift of shadows from the lamp. A whisper slipped through the air behind him, a quiet hello that he didn't even register at first because it sounded too close and too low to make sense. Before he could process the stillness, the camera stand beside him toppled over on its own, hitting the floor with a sudden clatter that made him jump. He picked it up and propped it back into place, trying to laugh it off, but the uneasy feeling lingered like whatever whispered at him was still standing right behind his shoulder. Chris was sitting in his living room later that night, with the TV playing softly beside him and his dog curled up at his feet, trying to enjoy the quiet, even though the house kept giving him that uneasy feeling again. The tapping started up just like before, faint and scattered, and then the door started to vibrate.
Stop chewing on me. I'm sorry, y'all. He's just playing. It may be loud on my phone. I don't know yet. But yeah, we're just chilling. And I swear, up and down, I could have swore the door was vibrating. It's a sliding door. Slides into the wall. There it goes. It's making me shake a little bit. I'm sorry. Devil scared the shit out of me. Turn this to the light.
While he stroked the dog, the door across the room began to vibrate like something on the other side was pushing against it. And this is the moment that he pulled out the camera and kept it aimed straight at the door. The door slid open just a little on its own, then slowly crept even farther, revealing a deeper patch of darkness behind it that made the room feel colder. After a few seconds, it opened all the way, swinging wide until the entire doorway was visible and completely empty. Not a single movement inside. Chris stood up with his dog watching closely, walked toward the room, and flipped the light on. The space was perfectly still, every corner untouched, literally not a soul in sight. The silence felt even heavier than before, like whatever opened the door had stepped back just out of reach the moment he crossed the threshold. We might see more of Chris in future videos. The hospital room looked totally ordinary on camera, just a standard space with a bed in the center, a chair pushed against the wall, a small table with folded blankets, and the usual equipment sitting quietly in standby. Nothing looked out of place, and the frame stayed steady for a while, showing a perfectly normal scene with no movement at all. Out of nowhere, a strange, uneven sound slipped into the audio, almost like a motor trying to start even though nothing in the room was supposed to be running, and the backrest of the bed began lifting on its own in small, awkward jumps. It kept rising higher, little by little, climbing at a slow, steady angle until it was nearly upright at 90 degrees, with no one near the controls and nothing touching it. The rest of the room stayed exactly the same, the chair still, the other equipment untouched, every corner frozen except for that single, impossible movement. When the noise finally stopped, the bed stayed locked in that upright position, leaving the room looking perfectly normal again, except for the one thing that clearly hadn't moved by itself. Sabia had a security camera set up in her kitchen in the Netherlands, just a regular feed showing the table and a few candles sitting untouched near the back wall. Everything looked calm for a while, nothing unusual happening at all except for a few soft orbs drifting across the screen like dust catching the light. Then, without any movement around it, the candle suddenly sparked to life, a quick flash that turned into a steady flame, as if someone had just struck a match right beside it. Nothing else shifted in the room, no breeze touched the wick, and there was no one standing anywhere near it. The flame held perfectly still after forming, burning like it had been lit on purpose, even though Sabia knew the candle had been cold for hours. The rest of the kitchen stayed completely normal on camera, but the sudden light from the wick made the whole space feel different, like something unseen had stepped in just long enough to leave a mark, before disappearing again. A few nights later, Sabia checked another piece of security footage, this time from the sitting room, and the scene looked completely still at first, with the furniture exactly where it always stayed, and the time on the right showing it was practically midnight. The camera picked up a few drifting orbs crossing the frame like pale specks floating through the air, the same kind she had seen in the kitchen earlier, but nothing else seemed off until the corner of the room shifted. A chair that had been pushed neatly into the corner slid forward on its own, moving in one smooth line across the floor, even though no one was near it. More orbs drifted by in clusters right after, almost like the movement stirred something up, and then the painting on the wall began tilting slowly side to side as if an invisible hand was nudging it. The rest of the room stayed perfectly quiet. No shadows moving, no lights flickering, just the chair out of place and the painting swaying gently before settling back into place. Watching it all unfold at midnight made the sitting room feel less like a normal part of the house and more like another spot where something unseen was making itself known piece by piece. Who knows if it continued, because this is the last we heard from Sabia. In the following video, Stephen was washing dishes with the usual evening noises in the background, the sink running, the faint hum of the fridge, and nothing out of the ordinary until something suddenly tapped hard against the middle of his back and bounced onto the floor behind him. The sound made him jerk around with that instant confusion where your brain tries to catch up to what your body already felt, and he had no idea what could have hit him because he knew no one else was supposed to be that close.
Dude, I'm a little wigged out right now. So I was washing dishes and just putting things away, and all of a sudden I feel something hit me in the back and I heard it bounce. Look at this shit. And this ball hits me in the back right shoulder out of nowhere. And what's even crazier is look where Avery's at. Now mind you, I just got done washing the air fryer and was drying it off. Whatever it was had a little bit of force. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Lauren's been in bed for almost 2 days. Like, she gets up for a little bit, but she has not felt good at all. And Avery, let's just face it, if he's not watching his tablet, he's on the Oculus or he's outside. And I knew with it being like 12 o'clock, he's inside. So I have no idea. Now I have a lot of activity. It's not like malicious or anything, but that right there was the first time that's happened. So I don't know, what do y'all think about it?
When he cut to the CCTV footage, the camera clearly showed a small ball shooting across the room and hitting him square in the back before dropping to the floor, and the look on his face as he turned around said everything about how unexpected it was. He switched the feed over to another part of the house where his son Avery was sitting in plain view, completely occupied and nowhere near the kitchen, just to make it absolutely clear it couldn't have been him messing around. The replay showed no one behind Stephen, no shadows moving, no sign of any trick, just the ball launching on its own and hitting him like it had been tossed by someone he couldn't see. Elysia was alone at her storage unit in the middle of the day, filming down the long, narrow corridor that always felt eerie, but she never really questioned it. The overhead lights buzzed softly, reflecting off the rows of identical metal doors, while her voice echoed down as she told us about what was happening. She wasn't expecting anything at all until she started filming, just checking on a few things she had stored away, when something at the very end of the hallway caught her attention.
I'm over here at the storage, and I don't know if it's me, but y'all tell me I don't see that. Oh no. I don't know if it's just a fan like going in and out, but the is that? Duh. I don't. Maybe I'm bugging. No, I know y'all just see that, right? Oh!
A dark shape peeked out from the corner, a black blob leaning just far enough around the wall for its outline to show before sliding back out of sight again. She kept filming, trying to convince herself it was a trick of the light, but the shape returned a second later, then slipped away, then peeked again like it was deliberately watching her from the far end of the corridor. Nothing else in the hallway moved, no doors rattled, no shadows shifted, except for that one shape darting back and forth behind the last wall. The emptiness made the whole place feel colder, and the repeated movements left her with the awful sense that whatever was hiding around that corner wasn't trying to avoid her at all, but was studying her from a distance she couldn't close. In the follow-up clip, Elysia returned to the storage facility in the daytime, hoping the daylight would make the place feel less threatening, but the moment she stepped inside, she realized it didn't help at all. The entire corridor was pitch dark, even though the building should have been fully lit during business hours. She was the only customer there, with only a couple of staff somewhere in the front office, so she decided to walk in anyway.
Alright, y'all. I'm finally back at this place. And you know, I'm in the process of moving in and out. Right now, ain't nobody here. Like, listen. If I see something again, I'm definitely reporting to the manager to put up that video, because I'm not playing. There's one car over there, but I'm just gonna see, because right now everything's dark. Like inside there, I don't know if you can see it, but it's dark. Like, look how scary that shit is, bro. This is why I hate doing this shit, but I got no choice. This here. See, like, I know when you go in, it censors somebody that's here. Oh, so. See, that's that shit that be scary. And, like, I'm on the second floor. Okay. I know that this lady probably lives here or she does her business here, but she's here every single day, nonstop. If that chair's not there, she's not here. If the chair's there, she's there. And, yeah, so I don't know if she lives there or does her little business there. Yeah, anyways, yeah, I don't know. Alright. See, this is my storage. And I'm honestly, I'm like acting like you guys are human. Or bitch, I might be living here tonight. No. I'm not doing this. There's no way there's no way I'm in the storage stuck in this shit. Hello! Oh my god.
As soon as she crossed the motion sensor, the overhead lights flickered on one by one, illuminating the long hallway in a way that instantly reminded her of the last video. She went upstairs to the second floor, unlocked her storage unit, and began recording inside while she rearranged a few items. Out of nowhere, the sound of something sliding echoed from directly outside the unit, a long dragging noise like metal or plastic scraping across the floor. Elysia froze, staring toward the open doorway before rushing forward and pulling the metal shutter down as fast as she could, trapping herself safely inside so whatever had caused the noise couldn't get in. She waited quietly, breathing hard, but the sliding sound didn't repeat. Later that day, Staff reviewed the CCTV for her, and the cameras confirmed it. Nobody else had entered that floor at all during the time she was there, making the situation far more unnerving than she wanted to believe. This next video was recorded by Josh, another paranormal investigator, and his team, who spent 2 nights investigating the childhood church of Jim Jones in Lynn, a quiet town that still carries the weight of a dark and disturbing legacy. Long before he became the infamous leader of the People's Temple, Jim Jones attended this very church as a boy, walking its halls, sitting in its pews, and developing the beliefs that would later influence one of the most tragic cult events in history. What makes this location especially unsettling is the idea that everything started here. The team, consisting of 3 brothers, Josh, Rocky, and Sean, entered the church hoping to understand why it is considered haunted and whether something connected to Jim Jones still lingered there.
Coffin. Where's the coffin at? Dude, when you look out to the darkness, you just picture, it feels like 100 people out in the darkness just staring at you. It is so freaking cold down here. Who is the man that stays down here?
Slam.
Slam. I dare you to slam something.
Why?
Because I want to hear you. If you do loud stuff, that lets me know you're in
Purgatory.
here. Purgatory. Are you stuck in purgatory? You remember Jim Jones being here at this church?
Do not.
You don't? We know Jim Jones came here for many years as a child, and then he moved on and became a reverend at different churches. And then they did some very bad things.
Jim.
Whoa! Holy. Okay, that was loud. Holy crap. Okay, I'm gonna move back here. Something so freaking loud.
As they moved deeper into the church, with over 1,000 people watching the investigation live, something was caught on camera. Watch.
I feel like if we're gonna catch something, it's gonna be in the basement.
Well, I think we need to go up to the attic. Or it'd be better if I just filmed the screen. Like if they're just watching the screen, then I won't need this light on. What do you think?
Within seconds, viewers watching the live stream began flooding the chat with warnings, pointing out a strange figure that appeared in the stairwell. What makes this moment so disturbing is that in earlier footage, the stairwell was completely empty. Nothing was there that could explain the sudden appearance of this figure. So is it possible that something connected to Jim Jones still exists there? Some paranormal researchers believe that spirits are often drawn to places that shaped them the most. Locations tied to their identity, their emotions, and their transformation. This church wasn't just a random building in his life. It was where his path began, where his beliefs were formed, and where he first began developing the influence he would later have over so many people. For now, this remains a mystery. Now, in this next video, some explorers decided to investigate an abandoned military hangar that had been active from World War II all the way through the 1990s, a place that once held aircraft, personnel, and decades of military operations, but had since been left to decay in silence. Buildings like this often carry layers of history, and while they expected to find dust, rust, and forgotten equipment, they did not expect to find something watching them. From the moment they stepped inside, they began hearing strange noises echoing through the massive, empty structure. At first, they tried to rationalize it, blaming it on the wind forcing its way through broken panels or loose metal shifting under its own weight. Then, this happened. Watch.
Is that right there? Oh! What the fuck was that? What the that shit, bro? What the was that shit, man?
How did it even get through here? Look at this fucking...
Holy shit, bro! There's no way, whatever that... Listen.
It's just thunder.
That's thunder, but... What was that? There's no...
In the footage, a strange figure can be seen watching them from a distance, but when they reached the exact spot where the figure had been standing, there was nothing. No person, no animal, and no place for someone to hide or escape in that short amount of time. Some believe this could be what investigators call a shadow person, entities often reported in abandoned locations, especially places tied to intense emotional energy, trauma, or prolonged human activity. Others believe this could have been the spirit of someone who once worked there, possibly a soldier or personnel who spent years inside those walls, whose presence never truly left, continuing to patrol the same grounds long after the base was abandoned. The way this figure remained at a distance, concealed in shadow, and vanished the moment they approached, makes some wonder if they were being watched the entire time. In the following video, a man shares the unusual and deeply unsettling thing that's been happening inside his apartment. Something he had tried to explain to friends and family for months, but no one truly believed him. According to him, the activity didn't start immediately after he moved in. At first, the apartment felt normal, quiet, uneventful, but that slowly began to change after he learned something disturbing about the person who had lived there before him. He was told that the previous tenant had lived alone for many years, rarely had visitors, and eventually passed away inside the apartment. The details were unclear, but neighbors said it took days before anyone realized he was gone, and ever since then, some residents claimed the apartment never felt the same. At the time, he didn't think much of it, until small things started happening. Coins he clearly remembered placing in one spot would appear somewhere else. Jars would slightly shift positions, and sometimes he would hear faint metallic tapping sounds late at night, like something lightly striking glass. When he told people, they called him crazy. So one day, he decided to set up his camera, hoping to finally prove that something was happening. Watch.
Hey guys, this coin, amazing. People aren't believing what's happening in this house. I've left this all night and all I've heard is it rattling inside. Now, I want you to witness what I'm going through here because maybe if you just see for yourself, innit? This is what I'm dealing with. Are you angry because you're dead? What are you angry about? Is that it? Why are you with me? Why are you around me? What do you want? Knock the glass over. Is that it? Been doing it all night, come on. Take a break. What do you want? Guys, are you seeing it? Whoa. How is that possible? Come on, it's in a jar. At least they didn't lie to me. Cheers for that. Thank you. I am shit.
Some believe this could be the former tenant attempting to communicate, using the coin as a way to show his presence, especially since spirits are often said to manipulate small objects that require less energy. Coins, in particular, are commonly reported in paranormal encounters, sometimes seen as a symbolic attempt to get attention, almost like knocking, but in a way that cannot be mistaken for coincidence. Others believe it could be something more territorial, something that does not recognize the man as the rightful occupant. If the previous tenant spent years living there alone, forming a deep attachment to the space, some theories suggest his spirit may still see the apartment as his, reacting with agitation to the presence of someone new. But there is an even darker possibility. Paranormal researchers warn that entities capable of moving objects with that level of force may not be harmless at all. What begins with small manipulations, coins, jars, subtle disturbances can sometimes escalate, becoming more aggressive over time, especially if whatever is present grows stronger or more aware of the person living there. The violent nature of the coin's movement, the persistence, the intensity, makes some wonder if this wasn't simply an attempt to communicate, but a warning. Until more updates are shared, this unsettling case remains unsolved. This next video was recorded just a few days after Christmas, a time usually filled with warmth, celebration, and families enjoying the quiet calm that follows the holidays. On this particular day, the parents were out, leaving the kids home alone, something they were already used to. The house was peaceful, quiet in the way it normally is after the excitement of Christmas morning has passed. Wrapping papers cleared away, decorations still hanging, and new gifts settling into their places around the home. But at some point, the eldest son began hearing a strange sound coming from the kitchen. Confused and uneasy, he walked toward the kitchen to see what was causing it, and what he found made him immediately call his siblings to come and look. Watch.
Alright, you guys gotta see this cabinet. It's been moving, and oh my, you see? It's been moving open and shut by itself for 30 minutes now.
Holy shit, do you see that?
Dude, see, that's tripped down, man. I don't even know if I want to stay the night here tonight. Hey, Marco, I don't think I'm staying the night, dog.
I don't think I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna stay up until that stops.
No visible cause, and no draft strong enough to explain that kind of repeated movement. What makes this even more unsettling is that, according to the family, they had never experienced anything strange in the house before this day. which is why many people immediately connected this incident to the timing, the Christmas season itself. Across many cultures and paranormal beliefs, the holiday season is thought to be a time when the boundary between the living and the dead becomes thinner, a time filled with emotional energy, memory, tradition, and reflection. Some believe this energy can attract spirits, especially those connected to family, longing, or unfinished presents. Others say spirits may be drawn to homes during this season simply because of the warmth, the light, and the life inside. But it's also possible that something was unknowingly brought into the home during the holidays, like an old gift, a second-hand decoration, or an antique item. Objects can sometimes carry attachments, especially items with unknown histories. Something as simple as a thrifted ornament, an old toy, or even furniture could potentially bring more than memories with it. But what do you think? Now this next clip was captured around 3 a.m., a time long associated with unexplained activity, when a man suddenly woke up after hearing strange noises coming from outside his home. At first, the sounds were faint and unclear, like distant movement or low murmuring that didn't belong to anything familiar. Still half asleep, but deeply unsettled, he turned his attention toward the window, trying to figure out what could possibly be making those sounds at that hour. But when he looked outside, it wasn't just the noises that caught his attention. He saw something else. Watch closely.
Estoy escuchando ruidos afuera. Son 3:30 de la mañana. Voy a no sé si sale. Ahí está, hija de puta, de vuelta. Es ella. Yo no te voy a tener miedo. Hoy no te tengo miedo. No tengo miedo. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. ¿Dónde estás?
A figure in white passes directly by his window. Whether this was a real person or something else entirely, both possibilities are deeply unsettling. Because if it was a person, that raises even more disturbing questions. Why would someone be silently walking around his property at 3 a.m.? Why dressed in white? And why disappear so quickly without leaving any trace? But what makes this encounter even more disturbing is that this wasn't the first time. According to him, there had been other nights when he saw figures outside, sometimes dressed in black, appearing briefly and then vanishing. And on certain occasions, the entire neighborhood would erupt with the sound of dogs barking all at once, as if reacting to something moving among them that humans couldn't fully see. Interestingly, there were also nights when the dogs didn't bark at all. So until more footage emerges, this disturbing encounter remains a mystery. In the following video is about a man named Aaron, whose life changed after he received terrible news from the police about the neighbor living directly beneath him. And if you've been following Aaron's story, you already know his apartment hasn't felt normal for a very long time. In the previous videos we shared, he attempted a spiritual cleansing ritual that ended badly, and many people questioned whether he had done it correctly, which is why this time he decided to try again, hoping to finally free his home from whatever seemed to be lingering there. For those unfamiliar with Aaron's story, everything began with a smell. For weeks he complained about a foul stench rising through his apartment floors, a thick, sickening odor that no amount of cleaning, ventilation, or searching could explain. And eventually, the horrifying truth was revealed. His neighbor had passed away inside his apartment, and his body had remained there undiscovered for weeks. By the time authorities found him, the damage had already been done. The hallway was sanitized, the apartment sealed, and on the surface, everything appeared resolved. But inside Aaron's apartment, things only got worse. Desperate for peace, Aaron decided to perform another cleansing ritual. Watch.
I'll be doing the red dragon blood sage to help me get rid of the spirit I have here. But first, I'm going to be placing this egg here in the center of the room. I'll place it right there. Come back. Okay. Here we go. So if there's a demon in here, you are not welcome. You have to leave. You're not welcome. Still smoky. It's barely lit. You know, people don't think that you're real. People actually think that you don't exist, but I want to show them. So show yourself. Don't be scared. Show yourself. Come out. Okay. Something's definitely showing itself. But it's okay because I got the sage on this. It's barely lit, but it's okay. It's still lit. I'm okay. I'm kind of scared to go around this corner. See. Here we go. Okay. Actually gonna turn on this light. Right now I kind of just want to turn around. Well, if you're here, you have to leave. Or do something to this egg. Do something to this egg. Move it. Maybe it left out the window or something. Okay, let's go do the egg so I can leave my apartment. Okay, here's the egg. Nothing wrong with the egg, see? It's regular egg. First off, let me show you my hand. There's nothing on my hand. I want to get out of here. Okay, here you go. And again, I don't know why.
According to Aaron, instead of things improving, the sage seemed to make the activity worse, and most people saw it coming. In many spiritual traditions, eggs are believed to absorb negative energy when used in cleansing rituals, acting as a vessel that pulls harmful forces away from a person or environment. But there is one rule that practitioners strongly emphasize. Once the egg absorbs that energy, it must never be opened inside the home. It must be buried outside, far from where you live, because burying it symbolically traps whatever it has absorbed within the earth, sealing it away and preventing it from returning. But Aaron cracked the egg inside his apartment. And according to certain beliefs, that single mistake may have undone everything. So for now, we can only hope things get better. The following video was recorded by a team of paranormal investigators in Carson City as they explored one of the state's oldest operating hotels, the St. Charles Hotel. This place has a long and unsettling history. Over the years, there have been multiple documented deaths within the building, including reports of self-harm and unexplained incidents that have left certain rooms with a reputation no guest wants to stay in for long. Staff and visitors have shared stories of footsteps in empty hallways, voices behind closed doors, and sudden temperature drops or spikes that seem to come out of nowhere. Some even claim that certain rooms feel overwhelmingly heavy, like stepping into a space where something hasn't fully moved on. So when investigators Patrick and Jason arrived, They already knew they might experience something unusual, but they didn't expect it to happen almost immediately. Watch.
Door.
Whoa.
What did it say? 198, 313.
Whew. Near logical preacher.
313 degrees.
Can you make this box go off some more?
82.
Over here.
What the hell? Dude, there was somebody, 503. Dude, I went back in here and it went to 503. If I should leave, can you make this go to just really, really hot? If I should get out of here, 500, this went to 500, 150, 590. Did you get it?
I'm sure I did.
Do you know? Oh, it's so hot in 224.
172.
Dude, it is
179.
Are you right here? Yeah. No, it's like holding my hand right now. It's like hot right around my hand.
It's super hot right here.
And it's holding there. Something flashed on the SLS too. Can you make that go even higher? Make it. Yeah. It smells like it's on fire. Yeah. 151. Are you on fire?
39.
Is it going back down?
40. 111. 172. 151. Yeah, it hasn't stuck this like this ever.
No.
Inside the room, the temperature begins to fluctuate rapidly, rising and falling in a way that doesn't match normal environmental changes. And as time goes on, the energy in the space feels different, heavier, and more intense. It reaches a point where even they decide they've had enough. But just before they left, they capture something neither of them can explain. Watch closely.
There appears to still be quite a bit of activity inside the St. Charles Hotel, and even some guests that never checked out.
Right after a strange light anomaly appears, something else happens. A white, shadow-like figure can be seen quickly moving and then disappearing into the bathroom. And this is where things start to get really unsettling. People think it could be tied to the building's past, possibly the spirit of someone who once occupied that very room, still lingering, still moving through familiar spaces. But there's another theory that's been circulating, that the light anomaly may have been a kind of manifestation point, a moment where whatever was there gathered enough energy to briefly take form before disappearing again. So what do you think that was? A trick of the light, or something that didn't want to be seen for long? Now in this next video, a man begins documenting a series of events inside his home, and what makes it so unsettling is how gradual everything feels at first, almost like something easing its way in without being noticed. On the very first day, he hears knocking coming from one of the walls, and like most people would, he brushes it off. He assumes it's the house settling, maybe pipes shifting, or temperature changes causing expansion. Nothing that immediately suggests anything unusual. By the second day, the sounds return, but this time, they change. It's no longer knocking, it's scratching. Still, he tries to rationalize it, convincing himself it could be mice in the walls or something small moving through the insulation. Uncomfortable? Yes, but still explainable, at least in his mind. But by the third day, whatever was happening stopped being subtle. Watch this.
Chicos, es la tercera noche que... No sé si escuchan ese ruido. Pero estoy solo, ¿me entiendes? Estoy solo en la pieza y estoy solo en mi casa. O sea, no, boludo. No. No, amigo, no. No, boludo, se acaba de mover. ¿Qué? No, miren, para que vean que abajo no hay nadie, boludo. Posta. O sea, no es ninguna... No estoy jodiendo ni nada. O sea, te juro que no hay nadie. Estoy yo solo acá.
And this is where things take a different turn entirely, because viewers quickly started pointing out something in the room that he didn't seem to question at first: the empty chair. It's positioned in a way that feels intentional, almost like it's meant to be used, and it's facing a mirror. Now, this might seem like a small detail, but in paranormal discussions, it's often brought up as something you shouldn't overlook. Some believe that leaving an empty chair like that can act as a kind of invitation, especially if it's placed as though someone is expected to sit there. And when that chair is facing a mirror, it adds another layer entirely, because mirrors are often thought of as gateways or amplifiers, reflecting more than just physical images. At this point, he has just one question: how does he stop all these from happening? The following video was recorded by a man who goes by Derry, someone who works at the Valley Plaza Mall, a location that, while still active during the day, has quietly picked up its own share of unsettling rumors after hours. Some people who have worked late shifts there have mentioned hearing footsteps in empty corridors, distant voices when entire sections are closed, and even the faint sound of children playing or laughing long after the mall has cleared out. Most brush it off as echoes traveling through the building, but not everyone is convinced. While walking through the mall, Derry suddenly heard something that made him stop: the sound of kids laughing. The problem is, he was completely alone, so he pulled out his camera. Watch this.
On everything I love, I just heard a group of kids over here laughing. On everything, bro. I just heard a group of kids laughing. Where the hell the kids at? What the fuck? Bro, I know I'm not tripping, bro. I just heard a whole bunch of kids laughing, bro. You hear that shit? What the f? Bro, I'm in the mall by myself. Where the f is it coming from? I know y'all heard that shit. Bro, what the f? I'm about to get about this bitch. What the f is that? What the f is that? Staring right at me. Right there. My heart beating fast as f, bro. I'm scared as fuck. There's a person right there in a red shirt, right in front of me. Right there, y'all see him. There's a person right there. Bro, what the f? No, he just standing there. Bro, he just standing there, bro. Bro. I'm out of here.
There have been claims that certain locations can hold on to emotional imprints, especially places where large numbers of people gather over time. If that's true, then sounds like this might not be random at all. They might be echoes of moments that never fully left. This next video was recorded inside Willard Library, a place widely known not just for its books, but for something far more unsettling that has kept its reputation alive for decades. The library is said to be haunted by a spirit often referred to as the Grey Lady, a presence that staff and visitors have reported seeing for years. People have described catching glimpses of a woman in grey moving between shelves, hearing footsteps in empty hallways, and even witnessing objects shift when no one is around. Some employees have even claimed that certain areas of the library feel heavier than others, like you're being watched the moment you step in. On this particular day, a librarian was closing up when she suddenly started hearing a strange sound. Listen closely.
I can hear you back there. Why don't you show yourself to me? I know this is your home, and I mean you no disrespect. I'm just curious about you, like why you're here and who you are. My name's Missy. I'd love to know more about you.
After the video was shared, people quickly came forward with their own experiences. One man described how he had only been inside for about 10 minutes, simply printing a document for work, when he suddenly felt someone standing right next to him. He said the feeling was immediate, chills running through his entire body, and when he looked, there was no one there. What made it worse was the reaction of the staff member nearby. She saw him panic and calmly said, "Yeah, that happens all the time." He left immediately and never returned. Stories like this are exactly why many believe the presence in that library isn't just residual, but aware. Some think the so-called Grey Lady may still be wandering the halls, attached to the building for reasons unknown, occasionally making herself known to those who happen to cross her path. Others believe the energy in the building has simply built up over time, creating moments where the line between what's seen and unseen becomes thinner. Now in this next video, a man who is known for collecting statues with unusual and often tragic histories shares something he captured inside his home, and unlike most of his collection, this one seems to react. Over time, he had built a habit of researching the background of each piece he brought in, often finding that many of them were tied to loss, memory, or emotional significance, which is exactly why some people believe objects like these can sometimes carry more than just their physical form. On this particular day, he was simply playing a song when this happened. Watch closely. If you pay attention, the statue appears to move, not dramatically, but just enough to raise questions. Some believe that objects with heavy emotional or historical backgrounds can, in rare cases, become vessels for lingering energy, especially if they were once meaningful to someone who experienced deep attachment or loss. According to this theory, the song may not have been random at all. It could have triggered something familiar, something that resonated with whatever is tied to the object. So what do you think this was? A coincidence, or something reacting to a memory it never let go of? The following video was recorded by a woman named Alex, who began noticing something unsettling about the house right next to hers, a place that, by all accounts, should have been completely empty. The neighbor who lived there had sadly passed away after a heart attack, and since then, the house had remained untouched. No family moved in, no renovations, no new tenants, just a quiet, closed space that hadn't shown any sign of life for a long time, until Alex started noticing something that didn't add up. For several nights in a row, lights inside the house would suddenly turn on, and then off again, at different times, with no clear pattern. So one night, she decided to record it. Watch this.
It just looked like somebody, or it still looks like someone's looking out the window, but I can't tell. Does that look like a whole person standing there in that window? Like kind of looking out?
It's a refrigerator.
Okay.
I can see the handle of it.
No one.
No.
That's the neighbors.
No. That dark window.
But that's his bedroom. The other bedroom.
That window was open. That window wasn't open.
No.
That window hasn't been open.
No.
You look at that house every day.
No one's been in this house since he passed, other than when they came and redid the floors and everything to get it so people can move in it, but no one's even come and looked at the property. Let me try something. Okay, I haven't done this filter in a minute. Let me see if it works. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. All right, I hate when it does that. Let's see if I can get it. Let me go out to my porch real quick. All right.
Oh.
See, it's doing that every time. No, I know.
Leave it alone.
Let me try it one more time. All right, so I just turned the filter off so I can zoom in one more time. Y'all, I don't know what's going on, but it's not normal. He won't let me go over there and investigate any further. There's that open window again, and the light's not even on over there. It's just literally on in his living room, and that's where he always chilled, was in his living room.
I know. Okay.
All right, I'm going to end it here, y'all. I'll update you in a little while if I see anything.
Her first thought was simple. Maybe the lights were on a timer, but when she reached out to the landlord to confirm, the answer made things worse. There was no timer installed, no one had been inside the house, and according to him, no new tenant had moved in. So if that's the case, then who or what is turning the lights on? If the former owner had a strong attachment to that space, some believe it's possible that part of him never truly left, that what Alex is seeing could be a presence continuing its normal patterns, unaware or unwilling to move on. But like always, you be the judge. The following video is about a man who believes he's living in a haunted apartment, and not because of what single incident, but because of a series of small, unsettling experiences that have slowly built up over time. He's mentioned hearing movement in rooms he just left, faint sounds at night when everything should be quiet, and that constant feeling of being watched, especially when the lights are off. One evening, something happened that he couldn't explain away. Watch closely.
Watch. See that? What the What the Tell me I'm not a fucking crack, dude. Hell no. What the Dude, I'm out of here.
In the moment the light switches on, you can briefly see what looks like a figure entering the frame, But almost instantly, as the light fully comes back, there's nothing there. No movement, no shadow, no one standing where something clearly just was. There's a theory that whatever it is might be avoiding direct visibility, choosing moments where it can appear just enough to be noticed, but never long enough to be confirmed. And if that's the case, then it wasn't caught by accident. It let itself be seen. And if you think nothing was there, then what walked into frame the moment the light came on? And more importantly, where did it go? Until more updates are shared, this remains a mystery. Nick was at home with his girlfriend, casually recording a video of her talking about what she was watching on TV, for reasons that aren't even important to what happens next. The moment seems completely normal. Just the two of them, inside, relaxed, unaware of anything unusual. The camera stays pointed toward her, but in the background, behind them, a window faces outside into the dark.
Beth. Hello. What are you doing?
TV.
TV.
Yeah.
What are you watching?
99 bizarre things.
Huh. Well,
as the video plays back later, they notice something neither of them saw at the time. A faint, ghostly figure passes by the window, moving across the glass for only a second before vanishing out of view. It doesn't look like a reflection, and there was no one outside when they checked. The realization hits after the fact, turning an ordinary clip into something unsettling. Now they're left reviewing the footage over and over, unsure what they captured or what they're supposed to do about it, trying to figure out their options while knowing they can't explain what walked past that window. For a while, strange noises had been coming from the basement. Sounds that didn't match the usual creaks of a house settling. There was consistent knocking, along with what sounded like rummaging and movement, like something was shifting around down there when no one should have been. The noises went on long enough to make it impossible to ignore. Eventually, Smith grabbed his camera, deciding to document whatever was happening, and slowly opened the basement door.
There's been noises coming from this door all morning. I'll just sit here and record it for a minute.
The moment the door cracked open, every single sound stopped. No more knocking, no movement, just silence. He made his way down the stairs cautiously, step by step, the camera scanning the dark space at the bottom. But when he reached the basement floor, there was nothing there. No fallen items, no animals, no sign that anything had been moving at all, leaving only the memory of the noise and the uneasy feeling that whatever made it had stopped the second he came looking. This next clip brings back a woman from a previous Haunter video who previously found a camera with blood on it along the trail and later shared the disturbing forest footage of a black figure hiding, so new viewers understand the situation surrounding her. In this separate video, she's at home, filming herself in bed, visibly shaken and crying after being woken up suddenly in the night. She keeps repeating that it's in her house and that it's coming for her. Her voice panicked and exhausted, like this isn't the first time it's happened.
It's the middle of the night and I just got woke up again. It's coming for me. It's in my house. The noises are coming from the kitchen. Listen. That's the noise that wakes me up every night. It gets me. It wakes me up in my dreams. It wakes me up from my sleep. I have to catch it on camera.
She turns the camera toward her bedroom door, and from deeper in the house, loud banging noises can be heard coming from the kitchen area, heavy enough to echo through the walls. She explains that the same sounds have been waking her up repeatedly at night, leaving her afraid to sleep. The combination of her fear, the unexplained noise, and her connection to the earlier footage makes the situation feel far more serious than just a random disturbance. Later in the same video, she leaves the bedroom and moves into the living room, right beside the kitchen, trying to steady her breathing while still recording. Her breaths are deep and shaky, like she's trying to calm herself enough to face whatever she thinks is there. The camera slowly turns toward the kitchen, and that's when she points it out.
You see that? There's a shadow in the corner of the kitchen. I know I'm not seeing things. I know I'm not. I know you guys saw that. I'm going back out there.
A dark, shadow-like figure can be seen standing inside the kitchen area, not moving, just present. She whispers that it's there, her voice trembling but certain, and the shape appears to match the same dark figure seen earlier in the forest footage. It doesn't approach or react, just remains in place, which somehow makes it feel worse. She insists she isn't imagining it, staying close enough to film it clearly, convinced the presence from before has somehow followed her home. Later, she's back in bed again, filming herself through tears, her face fed up and exhausted like she hasn't slept properly in days. She flips the camera around and asks viewers if they can hear it too. At first, it's faint, but there are clear speaking noises somewhere in the house, low and distant, but unmistakably voice-like.
Do you guys hear that? No one is home. My sister left for the whole weekend. Who is that? Who is that in my house?
She slowly leaves the bedroom and walks into the main living space, the camera shaking slightly in her hands. The sounds become clearer there, taking on a womanly tone, saying strange, unclear things that echo through the room. What makes it worse is the situation she keeps repeating. She is completely alone in the house. No TV is on, no one else is there, yet the voice continues, filling the space while she stands there recording, crying, and trying to understand who or what is speaking. As the video continues, she explains through a state of deep distress that everything has been getting worse, and that she hasn't told anyone around her because she's afraid of how it sounds. Her voice is tired, defeated, like she's been carrying this alone for too long. Then something happens that completely breaks her composure.
It's getting worse, and I don't want to tell anyone or go anywhere because I don't have anywhere to go, and I don't have anyone who's believing me. At first, it was my sister, but now I hear my mom. And she doesn't live here. She lives on the other side of the country, and I just called her, and she's in her own home. She's not here right now. So who is that? I've gone through the whole entire apartment. There is no one else here but me. No one else.
From somewhere in the house, she hears a voice calling out hello, and she freezes. She says it sounds exactly like her mum. The problem is, her mum is at her own home, nowhere near the house. The familiarity of the voice makes it more disturbing than anything else so far, because it's not just a random sound, it's personal, precise, and impossible to explain, leaving her standing there in shock, trying to process how something could copy someone she knows so closely. It simply makes no sense. At this point, she seems more determined than before, still scared, but trying to confront whatever is happening. There's knocking again, this time coming directly from her bedroom door. It's slow and deliberate, not random house noise, but spaced knocks that sound intentional. She calls out, asking who it is and what it wants, her voice shaky, but louder than before.
It's back again. It's back again tonight. Who is it? What do you want? I know you guys think it's a prank or something, but it's not. It's not. Something else is here.
In response, the door handle shifts and the door creaks open on its own, inch by inch, slow enough to make every second feel stretched out. She forces herself to get up and walk toward it, camera still recording, and looks behind the door and into the hallway. Nothing is there, no movement, no person, no explanation, but somehow that makes it worse, because now it's not just making sounds or showing shapes, it's physically moving parts of the house, interacting with her space while remaining completely unseen. In one last clip from the woman, she is seen leaving her apartment building and heading toward the car park, still recording as if she doesn't feel safe moving alone anymore. The area is dim, lit only by scattered lights, and she keeps scanning around as she walks. Then she zooms in toward her car, and that's when viewers notice it.
I was just walking out of my apartment. And look. You see that? You see that shadow? It's following me.
Behind the vehicle, partially obscured by shadow, the same dark figure shape appears to be standing there, still and silent, matching the form seen in the forest and inside her home. It doesn't move, but its presence alone is enough to make the moment feel heavy. Whether all of this is a coincidence caused by lighting and angles, or something far more real, no one can say for sure. What I do know is you should subscribe for more videos like this. The Midwest ghost hunter is back again, continuing his exploration of the same abandoned factory where he's been documenting some seriously unnerving encounters. For anyone new, he's a solo investigator who's been visiting this building for weeks now, and every single time the activity seems to ramp up even more. This latest clip only adds to the mystery.
Are you working? Dude, it sounded like footsteps up there. Like hard, heavy footsteps. Oh my God. My heart is racing. But as you can see, there's no one up there. Is it alright if I come up there? Am I authorized? Could you make a noise to let me know? Shoot, well, I'm coming up anyway. Hope you don't mind. Oh gosh, these stairs are steep. Oh. Oh, geez. All right, I think I'm gonna try a spirit box session up here. See if I can communicate with any of the workers. If there's anybody up here, I got a device here that you can speak through. Could you speak to me? Damn, it is dark up here, guys. This is what I'm seeing. just to show you. Pitch black. And I gotta carry this spirit box and this camera, so I ain't got a light. Whoa. That was a man's voice right there. Are you saying your name? Who are you? Whoa.
As he's walking through one of the upper levels, he suddenly hears disembodied footsteps climbing the metal stairs ahead of him. The sound is loud, clear, and paced just like a person would walk, but there's nobody on the upper section at all. He stands at the bottom listening, calling out and asking if he's allowed to come up, and the footsteps immediately stop. He asks whatever's there to make another noise to confirm he is allowed up, but the entire building goes silent. Since he doesn't get an answer, he decides to go up anyway, climbing the metal steps with his night vision helping. At the top, he pulls out his spirit box, asking directly for a sign that something is actually with him. After a few bursts of static, a voice comes through clearly saying, "Eddie," followed by another message that sounds like they lost their balance into Ian's equipment, almost like someone was standing right next to him, explaining what happened. Between the footsteps, the direct responses, and the eerily personal messages, this might be one of the most convincing moments he's ever captured in that factory. The following video was recorded by a man who works night shifts at a construction site in the middle of nowhere, a place so quiet that even the smallest sound carries for miles. But lately, he's been noticing something he can't explain, a voice, one that doesn't sound human, but doesn't sound like any animal he knows either. Listen. At first, he assumed it had to be a cat. Stray cats often wander through empty construction zones, and some of their cries can sound disturbingly human. But when he went out to check, there was nothing there. No movement, no glowing eyes in the dark, nothing. What makes this even stranger is the timing. He says it happens almost every night, around the exact same hour, like clockwork. The sound begins suddenly, continues for long stretches, then stops just as mysteriously as it started. In paranormal lore, there are entities often described as wailers, spirits believed to express themselves through crying rather than appearing visually. Some are said to be trapped in a place tied to their final moments, repeating their grief over and over. Others are believed to cry as a way of drawing attention or drawing someone closer. And in cases like this, witnesses often say the most terrifying part isn't seeing something, it's hearing it, knowing it's there, but being completely unable to find it. Before you decide what this might be, listen again. Whatever was crying that night remains a mystery. In this next clip, a man records a video to send to a medium because he's run out of explanations for what's been happening inside his house. Strange movements, reflections that don't match reality, and the constant feeling that he isn't alone. But after watching this footage, even someone with no paranormal background would immediately recognize the source. Watch carefully.
Empecé a grabar porque hace unos días yo sentí que había algo. Realmente yo estoy solo ahorita, pero hace rato vi en ese cuarto como que una sombra. No sé. Vean, vean, vean. Ahí se ve algo. Ay, Dios. Yo realmente estoy solo. Vean. Está completamente solo. Solo estoy yo. No se puede meter nadie aquí por la puerta. No, realmente estoy solo. Ni debajo de la cama. De hecho, el espacio es muy... Vean. Ahí se alcanzó a ver algo. Si pueden ver, yo estoy solo. No hay nada, no hay nadie en casa. No hay nadie. De hecho, hace días yo compré este troll porque se supone que aleja toda energía negativa. Pero ya lleva varias noches pasando esto.
As he walks through his home, a human-shaped figure can be seen moving in reflective surfaces, especially mirrors. They don't appear clearly, but you can see the form pass by, and then, moments later, it disappears. The movement doesn't match his position, and there's no one else in the house. Some believe mirrors and glass can act like thin barriers, places where entities can appear briefly without fully entering the physical space. And when something shows up repeatedly in reflections, people start to question whether it's simply passing through or already inside. But then he mentions something else. A troll he recently bought. He explains that the object caught his attention because it was said to absorb evil energy. Objects like this are sometimes referred to as spiritual vessels, items believed to attract, store, or interact with unseen forces. And ever since bringing it into the house, the activity seems to have intensified. It's easy to see why most viewers immediately connected the two. Some of his friends believe the figure might actually be the troll itself, not physically moving, but spiritually active, carrying out the purpose it was meant for, cleansing the space. But others strongly disagree. Whatever it is, it doesn't stay in one place, and its repeated appearances suggest it could be dangerous, feeding on energy, or even trying to manipulate the household. But I'll let you be the judge. Is this a protective spirit doing its work, or something far more dangerous? Now this next video circulated over 15 years ago, and to this day, it still unsettles people who've seen it. One night, a group of teenagers decided to break into a funeral home, a place most people wouldn't even feel comfortable walking past after dark. Funeral homes are quiet by design. They're places where bodies are prepared, preserved, and kept overnight, sometimes for days, and many believe that when someone passes, whatever part of them lingers doesn't always leave immediately. They began recording, expecting nothing more than an empty building. But what they captured was absolutely terrifying. Watch.
The fuzz is here. Stop, stop. Cops over there. See him? Focus, focus.
Go in the back here.
Alright, dude, let's just go. I don't think he's looking at us. Let's go, let's go. Dude, it's a sensor light. It's a sensor. Don't worry. Just give it a nudge.
Break it? Holy shit.
Nice! Alright, shh.
I don't know about this, guys.
Dude, creepy place. Don't be a weirdo.
Dude, let's go in here. Yeah, let's check this out.
Shh. Hold up, let me get a night shot. Oh, it is a night shot. Go. Yeah.
What the f?
Oh my god.
This is scary.
It feels colder in this room. It seriously feels
Dude,
colder.
I can feel that.
Dude,
that's
this place
nuts.
is haunted. I'm telling you, this
It
place
smells
is
different.
You
You smell those flowers? It
smells
like an old person's
house. It's freaking crazy.
Dude, did you see that?
What the fuck?
Dude, did you see it?
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah.
What was that, a tissue?
Fucking man. Let's get out of here. No way that happened.
At first, everything seems still. Then suddenly, something moves beside the lampstand. That moment alone was enough to send panic through the group. They were already backing away, ready to leave, when one of them made a decision that would make things worse. He walked further inside, hoping to find something, anything, that could explain what they'd just seen. Instead, this happened.
That tissue tripped me up.
Dude, what the
Let's get the out of here already. Why are we here still? What are you doing, man? Let's go.
Come on, let's check this out.
The only one out of place. No way, that's just a coincidence.
Did you get it? Did you get it on tape?
Well, yeah, I think I got it.
This is f***ed up.
No, man, let's get out of here. I'm tired of it. What the f***, man? Dude, what is that? Jeremy, where'd you go, man?
What the?
Fuck out, go. God damn it.
Why are we going downstairs?
We didn't
Just
have
go,
to
just
climb
go.
upstairs. Shit. Just look for the hangs in the window or something.
Oh, this is great, man. Just fucking great.
Let's get away out of here. Let's get out of here.
Let's go. Just look around for a window or something.
Over here.
Look.
Fuck, man.
Oh my God.
Nothing. Turn around. Other way. Let's
right.
get the f*** out of here.
Holy shit.
Funeral homes hold more than silence. They hold the last physical presence of people who were alive just days earlier. And workers in these places have quietly shared stories for years. Unexplained footsteps in preparation rooms, doors opening where no one entered, and the heavy feeling of being watched when alone. Some believe places like this carry residual energy, especially in rooms where bodies are kept overnight, where emotions from families, grief, and death itself concentrate. Till today, whatever caused all these remains a mystery. The following video was recorded by a woman named Simone during what was supposed to be a normal evening walk. On her way home, she passed a strange building she'd never paid attention to before. The place looked abandoned, quiet in a way that didn't feel normal. Even from outside, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was inside, watching her. The anxiety hit so suddenly that she didn't even stop to question it. She just left. A few evenings later, she passed the same building again, and this time she heard something that stopped her cold. A voice, and it sounded exactly like her sister calling her name. Watch.
I don't know why the lights are on, but I'm going inside of this house. I just heard my sister's voice, and I'm sick of this. And I need to figure out what's going on so I can put a stop to it. The fuck? Why is this chair in the middle of the floor?
Mimicking entities are known for doing exactly this, copying voices of people you trust to lower your guard and pull you closer. They don't need to show themselves right away. The voice alone is enough. The moment she entered, she noticed a chair sitting in a strange position, like it had been moved recently. And before she could even finish explaining what she was seeing, the figure appeared, briefly, but enough to confirm something was there with her. After that encounter, Simone tried to convince herself it was tied to the building. But soon after, things started happening in her own home. Banging sounds at night, footsteps when she was alone, whispers with no clear source, and an overwhelming feeling of fear that would come out of nowhere. One day, a friend came over after hearing everything, and this happened.
Hey guys, it's Simone again.
You kidding me?
Yeah. So I'm here with my friend Lexi, and I thought that this was over, but it's still happening. Something from this entity is still trying to get to me, so...
I thought you were kidding.
No.
Like, this is horrible.
I'm not kidding.
I don't know how you've been living like this. This is literally, like... I've checked this door 5 times. There's no way anyone is in the backyard.
Yeah. So, still going on, and I just wanted to come back and report to you guys that it's still impacting my life every day.
I'm so sorry. This is insane.
Here's the unsettling theory. If the activity followed Simone home, then this may not be about a haunted location anymore. It could be attachment. When something fixates on a person instead of a place, it's hard to walk away from something like this without answers, but Simone isn't ready to stop investigating until she understands what's happening.